So, if you want to see an example of someone living to their fullest potential with like from the heart with everything they've got, that is Bernie Sanders this week because he has been in policy beast mode this week. Like within a week, he has announced three of just the most amazing policy plans like I mean ever. I mean seriously. So when we think about like raising the bar, like okay, here's the bar, we've raised the bar. Like Bernie has brought it up here. Like he's bringing it up here. He's bringing some serious game, and um, I mean it is really amazing. So in this week, he released a plan for justice and safety for all to take on the criminal and justice system. Um, then there's the workplace democracy plan, which addresses, protection for unions and labor. And then following that up is the Green New Deal, which is just the most bold and audacious plan that anyone has put out there. Like Bernie Sanders, I mean, they were just out in Iowa playing baseball. Like he's literally going for he's not going for the he's going for the home runs, okay? Like he's going big. When Bernie says think big, not small, he is being the change he wants to see in the world this week. And it is awesome. It is so awesome. So in this video, instead of just going into the details of each of these plans, I'll put the link to each of the plans. I wanted to focus some more time on just talking about like the reaction. Like I've been going around social media and seeing how people have been reacting to this. And in a previous video, I talked about expanding of consciousness, right? And how Bernie Sanders is an example of how we can have a president with like who operates from an expanded consciousness level, right? He operates from the level of unity consciousness, right? Which is the opposite of what we have right now with Trump, who is about, separation consciousness, like fear, hatred, division, right? Bernie is about love, compassion, we're in it together, like unity. And and so this week he's demonstrating that in his policy plans. I mean, so, he talks often about like we have to think big, which goes into we've got to stop with limited beliefs that we can't have what we want. Like it's like asking too much. And Bernie is like, no, like asking to help human beings, us Americans, just have basic rights like healthcare, a clean environment, a place to live, and like a job with livable wages. Nobody should have to work 2 to 3 jobs just to support their life. So we're not even getting to enjoying life. We're just getting into like, being able to live. And it's ridiculous. But again, that is because we have this system of exploitation that keeps the 99% in economic servitude to the 1% so they can perpetually get rich off of us at the expense of people, animal, and planet, right? And we can't do that anymore. It's not sustainable. We're tired of it, and planet Earth is now at stake, right? The future of humanity is now at stake because it's just, I mean, the greed of the fossil fuel industry has got to come to an end because we can't do this anymore. And I mean, besides global warming, we're facing the collapse of our entire ecological system. I mean, right now, the Amazon forest has been burning for 3 weeks, and we up here in America are just learning about it now. The media hasn't been covering it, and now it's become a worldwide issue after almost a month of burning. And the Amazon, I mean, is the lungs of the earth. So, although it's a country far away, it impacts the entire global ecological system. And the main reason that those fires started was because of cattle ranching, deforestation, to raise cattle, because humans have like we eat too much meat. Americans especially, we eat the most meat in the world, and we've got to cut down. And that just goes back to our basic like over consumerism, right? And that is because, again, corporations constant need to create shareholder return on investment year after year after year, again, which is not sustainable. We're expecting infinite profits on a finite planet with finite resources, and on top of that, like, the global population is rising to 10 billion, by mid century. So we've got to like take bold actions and stand up to the oligarchs, to the 1%, to the corporations who are literally driving humanity into a perilous future. I mean, for money. And so we can't do that anymore. And so here's Bernie, and so that's an example, again, of the old consciousness that we've been brainwashed and trained to believe that that's how it's got to be. Modern capitalism is the best system, so people profit financially. But all these profits are coming, again, at the expense of people, animal, and planet. And so that is not success. When you have a pile of money and then most of the world is suffering, and then the planet becomes unlivable for us. And so, Bernie's plans this week, again, is an example of us like thinking, like really expanding the consciousness, right? And coming from a place of compassion and empathy and connection, like really understanding, the pain that people are feeling. And something that I want to point out, that makes Bernie different, when he releases a policy plan, he usually does a town hall or an event with people to, like, say, well, here's the policy, and then here are people. Wow, this is like people and what they think, and how it's gonna relate to them, and how it's gonna benefit their lives. Like, how many politicians, they just put out press releases with their bullet points. Maybe they do a quick video, but Bernie takes it to another level and has people, like actually people. I highly recommend, like, he did this town hall when he released his Justice and Safety for All plan. I mean, this town hall had me shook. Like, shook. I mean, in a good way. But I mean, there were things that I learned in there that I had never known about, like, our criminal justice system. It should be called criminal injustice system, because it's just atrocious. And just the grotesque way that we monetize our penal system. I mean, profiting off of poor and marginalized people. I mean, I was watching this panel and just, like, I had emotions all over the place. And, but one of the prevailing emotions was, this is the kind of accountability and action and honest discussion that we need to have to get to have healing in this country. And that's something that I talked about over and over that makes Bernie a different president than the others, is that, especially after a disastrous president like Trump, there's a lot of healing, like mentally, emotionally, psychologically, that needs to happen in our country. And Bernie is not only releasing policies, he's addressing, again, this emotional, mental, and spiritual side that is often ignored and not talked about in politics, which it needs to, because, again, we're not humans having a spiritual experience, we're spirits having a human experience. And so the spirit part, right, the heart, our soul, what matters to us has got to be talked about, and that includes the pain, right? America has a lot of pain, shame, guilt that needs to be talked about and addressed, and Bernie is doing that. The Justice and Safety for All town hall was a great example. I mean, you got to watch it. I mean, this one, like, ranks up now again in the top 5 of the best Bernie videos in this race. So watch it and then share it with everybody, because it really you get a good glimpse of the human side of what we'll get in a President Sanders, and it is just like it's amazing, like on multiple levels. Like, I mean, afterwards, I'm just kind of like, you know, looking. I went around Twitter to, you know, get reactions for people, and I mean, and it's just, and even with the other plans, people are like, we can have this, like someone's proposing this, like, oh my God, what a difference this would make if we, you know, if this was implemented. I mean, it really is amazing. So, man, our man Bernie, he is living his best life. He is operating at the higher self. You know, like, this is what we can have that benefits the higher good of all in our country, and it is just amazing. It is really amazing. So, a call to action this week is go volunteer. The way we win this is on the ground game. So we need all the help. We need all hands on deck. We're doing strong, but more people. We need to get more people to volunteer to win voters over, because half the country doesn't vote. So we have huge opportunity to win all kinds of new voters for Bernie Sanders. So go to berniesanders.com/volunteer. Sign up. Let's do this.